Hello everybody, this is Tony bISM's Ultimate Wargaming Update. I'm getting close to showing the complete collection of my German forces for my alternative history war game between the set 1952 between Germany and Russia. These are the panzers that will be used for the game. As you can see, the very first panzer here at the bottom of the screen, the gray Panzer IV, although it was the panzer that was used, primary panzer that was used in World War II, which would have been between 1941 and 45, will probably seem out of place in 1952. There's actual evidence to show that they had been imported to the Middle East and were used in the Israeli Arab conflict. I guess there was some used. I'm not sure who used them, but I have read some literature on it that they were actually, some were put into service, which I'm sure a lot of tanks from the World War II era, such as Shermans, which were being used quite a bit by the Israelis, were employed in that theater of war. So anyway, so I'm going to have some of those. There won't be a lot of them, and they'll kind of be phased out through attrition. So as the game goes on and they're destroyed, they will slowly disappear from the battlefield. The next tank is the Panzer VII, which is kind of a theoretical panzer that didn't really exist, but I created it. And it kind of looks similar to the Panzer IV, but it's larger dimensions. It's also will be a heavier panzer with a larger caliber of gun, but it will be also phased out through attrition during the battles. There won't be a lot of them. It was kind of a stopgap before in the theoretical scenario of my game when the E series of panzers came out, and that's the next two panzers that you see there, the unpainted panzer and the gray one next to it in the middle of the group of panzers. The unpainted panzer is the E35 panzer, which would have ranged between 30 and 35 tons. Next to it was the E45 panzer, which would have ranged between 40 and 45 tons. These are theoretical weights classes that I came up with. The Germans were working on in the E series, which I think stood for experimental, and they ranged, I think, from 25 tons, 50 tons, 75 tons, somewhere along those areas. So I'm kind of just changing the weightage, I guess, the tonnage of the tanks and the name class of them. The next tank is kind of modeled after the King Tiger. So it's the Tiger II, I guess, is what the Germans called it, the Allies called it the King Tiger. And as you can see, it's much larger than those tanks, than the first four tanks I showed you. So there will be those in the game. Now the Tiger II will probably not come into the game until it gets to a point where the tank development will increase to improve to combat the development of tanks on the Russian side. And, the next one, the final tank, is a theoretical E75 panzer, which the Germans, I think, were working on it. They had done some paper drawings of it, but it never went into production. It's much larger, as you can see, and it will range between 70 and 75 tons. So it's a much bigger tank with a much larger caliber gun. The gun on it would be like 128 millimeter. Obviously, I think it will actually probably be bigger. I think on the E75, I think the Germans were planning on fitting like 140 millimeter, maybe 150. You know, and I don't know. There's not a lot of information out there on that, and I don't know how accurate that is. So I haven't really decided, but it obviously will be the largest tank on the battlefield with the most powerful gun, at least on the German side. So if the game goes that far, when we start playing it, and you get to that part, it'll be pretty interesting to see how that tank will fare in battle. So anyways, that's kind of a lineup of those tank forces that the Germans will be employing. And these are just only tank. I am going to do some videos on the assault guns and the tank destroyer, the evolution of those two type of vehicles. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my video, and I will be making some more videos shortly. Once again, I appreciate any kind of feedback, criticism, compliments, suggestions, anything along those lines. Once again, you guys have a good day. Thank you.